Yeah, everybody gets a chance to join the fam, Tony.
That's
Even
right.
that crazy uncle until he gets a little too crazy, then you're out of the fam.
Yeah, I think we should just kind of list all water on the bridge, kind of like kind of like a drunk in the bar. We just kick them out and forget about them. There's no reason to bring them up anymore. But anyway, we'll continue
Darn
on.
it!
Let's do it. No more. No more. That's it. We don't want to. This is. We don't want to. Just. It's just. I like the Larry
No
King method.
fun.
Just
No fun league.
no fun league. Just let him go. Let's continue on here on the show. Nuggets and Pelicans here. This is one of those injury games where we're all in suspense and who's playing, who's not. We got Nuggets here laying a point, total 230.
I'm just going to go by the projected line and say that Nikola Jokic will play in this game, but either way, I think it might benefit the total here to be an under as I look at the game between Denver and New Orleans. Denver's hot right now. We give a lot of credit to all those young teams. Right now, that looks like there's one team above the rest. I think it's the Denver Nuggets in the West. Currently, they've won 9 out of their last 10 games, 11 out of their last 13. It'll be up to those young teams to step up. Yes, the veteran teams will have a say too, of course, including the Warriors. But right now, they're not ahead of Denver as far as in the standings, maybe in the perception. You're going to give the Warriors every chance in the world, certainly once they get to the point if they end up meeting the Denver Nuggets. But right now, Denver, number one, certainly I would think in the West. They've on that little winning streak, including uh, you know playing some decent defense. I know everybody thinks they got their problems to a certain extent. I look at them as a whole, and I see one of the better defenses actually in the entire league. Might not be proven statistically in some of the categories, but I think if you look at the some of the peripherals around the Nuggets, that's where they might excel. Denver has gone under in 6 of their last 8 games, including 5 of their last 6 off of a spread loss. They're 16 and 21 to the under as a favorite this year. They only shot 43% in that loss to OKC. They were stunned a little bit, 101 to 99 in that game. That kind of ruined their winning ways a little bit, but still, facing one of those good young teams. New Orleans lost 4 straight right now in 7 of their last 9. Tony, they have gone under in 8 of their last 9 games against teams above 500. They also didn't shoot well in their last game, a 196 loss against the Miami Heat. Both these teams, okay, I would think in adjusted defensive rating. Got New Orleans number 6, Denver's middle of the pack at number 16. But if you look at the last 10 Denver games, those games average 227 points. If you look at the last 10 New Orleans games, those games average 225 and a half points. So both those numbers go under what we see in tonight's ball game. 8 out of the last 10 meetings between these two teams have gone under, including 4 out of the last 5 in New Orleans in this Western Conference series. So they do meet, sub frequently, rather frequently. Denver is 4-1 against the spread in those last 5 games, by the way, at Smoothie King. No, Denver number 22 in offensive pace. So the teams met back in December was a 121 to 106 victory for the Nugs in that one. I've got the down arrow tonight as far as offensive production on these New Orleans Pelicans, particularly if Jokic is in there. I would say it helps somewhat if he's not on the lack of production that he might have on the offensive side. It actually might help New Orleans pace a little bit, but with McCollum, Valanciunas, Marshall, Murphy, I've got all the down arrow on these guys, mostly all of them actually in this spot. Herb Jones as well. Meanwhile, Denver, I think they might be in a little bit better position against the New Orleans team. I only have Aaron Gordon really, maybe with subpar production in this one. New Orleans has their usual injuries right now, but Brandon Ingram is nearing a return. There was some talk that it could be today, but it may end up being next week, actually. Zion, still no timetable in this one. But yeah, we'll be waiting on the tweet deck for the Jokic news to come out. We got to make our play here, but I feel like I'm willing to almost go one way or the other with Jokic. You have to here on the show, but I got under 230 today, Denver and New Orleans.
All right, one says go under 230. Denver and New Orleans is kind of an interesting game here, Ramon, because I know Denver here on the front end of a back-to-back. Tomorrow is a very, very, very high-profile game. If you're already looking towards a possible NBA Finals matchup, then you would probably say, well, definitely. I like the Nuggets come out of the preseason. You guys knew I was at the Nuggets preseason game, and that's why I went, because I really felt that they could be the team, especially with Murray, starting to get back into form. I knew it would take about 30 to 40 games before he's got back to himself. You look at all the depth they have in the backcourt. It's a ton of depth back there. Even Braun, this kid from Kansas, I mean, he's probably like a fourth stringer on the guard. I mean, they're just loaded with guards on that team. But again, this is the front end of a back-to-back. Tomorrow, Denver goes into Milwaukee.
Yeah, so maybe that's where you're pointing at, Tony. That maybe Jokic would take this one off to save for that one, but obviously, conference games might matter a little bit more. No, New Orleans has slipped down to seventh place right now, so not necessarily a threat to the Nuggets. And this is an injury situation for Jokic. It's not planned rest or anything, although it wouldn't hurt to get one more day of rest there. So he is pretty instrumental in slowing Valanciunas. If that were to be the case, I think that's where maybe I would change the prospects of Valanciunas if he is out and take away his down arrow on this one. Other positions, however, I do think Denver does play an underrated brand of defense. Maybe less so on the road, but I still think that they trans. One thing New Orleans does do particularly well is thievery, if you will. They do steal the ball at a pretty high rate compared to most teams in the league. So they do play a little bit of defense. Maybe it's not as much perceived that they do, but again, they're a decent club. Again, we talk about all those young teams out west every time right now because I really can't separate them by too much, Tony, when you're talking about the way those teams are playing, Sacramento and New Orleans, of course, in that group as well with the Thunder. So, whether or not their position on the stalwarts, if you will benefit them in the playoffs. Again, those young teams are going to end up ahead of the veteran teams. Unless they come charging, it doesn't seem to be any indication that they will. It does seem like these veteran teams are you know uh, apt to just pace themselves into the playoffs. There might be a little bit of scramble at the bottom. We'll see what happens there, especially with the Lakers. But still, I think they kind of see what position they're in and what they need to do moving forward. So Denver's not going to have that problem. Just got to see what's up with the MVP tonight. But no doubt he's moved to the top of the charts again in the futures betting. It's going to be hard to keep Jokic from winning a third consecutive MVP, moving ahead of Embiid at this point, I would think, once again.
Yeah, and if you probably would want to be in lineup in that high profile game. I don't know if tomorrow's Wednesday. That would be ESPN, right? I don't even know if tomorrow's an ESPN game because you think they would you think that they would might do that because you got the MVP there with Jokic, and this could be a final. No doubt, could be a finals. Preview. I mean, that would be a good selling point if I was ESPN if this was on my schedule. But let me go ahead and hit NBA to see what the TV lineup is tomorrow because I think some of that plays into it, right? You're an MVP. You want it twice in a row. You want to be on national television, and you know what? It's not. They're going to put the game tomorrow is going to be Brooklyn, Philadelphia on ESPN, and the doubleheader game is Memphis and Golden State. Now I've seen them move that Milwaukee game sometimes a super late night, right? I've seen that happen before, but I'm not. I can't trust the website because sometimes they get them wrong. Sometimes they get them wrong when they make the changes because the doubleheader tomorrow is Brooklyn, Philadelphia, then Memphis, Golden State. And I should probably just go to NBA.com. That's probably better because sometimes they don't update ESPN very well. I've had some errors on that channel or on that site where they don't update the schedule changes. Right? They go by the. Nope, it looks like it's going to be a yep. ESPN is Memphis and Golden State, and Brooklyn Philly is your doubleheader, Ramon. So no, there's no TV. There's no TV exposure tomorrow, so he can sit out tomorrow if he wants to.
Well, we'll see what happens in that one. I mean, again, when you're playing a back-to-back, New Orleans is no slouch. Definitely want to win one of the two, I'm sure, in this situation. So it really is dependent on, not a rest situation certainly there. So we'll see. But kind of interesting. Last game he became Jokic became the Nuggets' all-time assist leader.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
he's still young in his career. I mean, Denver's had its share of interesting guards, if you will, and Jokic is one of those that transcends out of his position. I mean, he can handle the ball with the best of the big men of all time, quite frankly.
Yeah. Well, look at these
Incredible.
point guards. Look at this point guard depth for the Nuggets. Jamal Murray, Bones Highland, Ish Smith, Bruce Brolin, Colin Gillespie. I thought he'd make his debut tonight, but it looks like he's still out again.
Yeah, and Highland also is on the injured list for tonight. So
Yeah.
Porter got an issue, got a personal issue right now that's going to keep him out as well. So
And this Christian Braun,
injury.
this rookie Christian Braun is pretty good. I saw bits of him in preseason. He gets a little bit of time here and there, and I know what the coach does. He kind of does a Phil Jackson style. He kind of rotates players around a lot. He doesn't use the set as far as the bench. He doesn't use the same guys all the time. He wants to keep them fresh, so he kind of mixes guys in and out off their bench.
Yeah, and I don't think there's any problem with what the Nuggets have done on the road either. I mean, we want to make fun of them a little bit. Maybe the fact that they do play in Denver does affect them a little bit when they go on the road. But again, they're still a near 500 ball club, maybe even a game over 500, I think. So, it's tough to go on the road. Everybody knows that. No big deal. Denver, I think, can post up when it comes down to those, playoff series. But again, they've just had a little bit of a hurdle over these last couple of years trying to get over the hump. And this is the year that, they figure they've got to have the pieces together right now, considering their run in the regular season. They're not pacing themselves necessarily. The any home court edge that they get is going to be a big deal, and I'm sure that once we get close to the finish line, they'll feel like they want to finish number one in the West. So I think that'll be important for them. The other, those veteran teams don't have really much of a shot to make up that kind of distance right now, given the circumstances. I would think so. As long as Denver can put down some of these teams like New Orleans, they'll be a good shot to remain number one in the West, and that'll be rather important for them facing all those teams come postseason.
All right, we got Ramon here. Nuggets, Pelicans, under total of 230. This one will start tonight here at 8 Eastern Time. All right, Ramon, let's go over at TonySpicks.com for tonight's action. Here we go again with Ramon in the NBA here. 914 units of profit last 30 days. That's Dogman in the NBA. Nice 7-game card for a Tuesday here. We got lots on the ice. I mean, you guys had a huge morning steam tonight with NHL card. Also, a pretty good college basketball card up there as well. What do you have going on over at Tony's Picks?
Yeah, well, some of our focus is certainly on those team plays. Myself, Tony, coming off that 10-4 yesterday, one lost by a point, one by a half a point. That's okay. I'll take 10-4. 12-2 would have been nice, but I always like to say no one lights up the leaderboard like I do. We have that all cappers tab where it kind of arranges the handicappers in kind of who's hot in a way, who's has the most categories where they're in the plus, and I went from quite frankly, the bottom to the top in just one day. No discredit to any of our cappers. That's just the way it runs because I put, maybe I put some 500 days together and erase that real quick when you go six over in one day. So Mindy and I are locked up, and like you said, in a lot of team Steam games, and we take pride in those just as much as our individual premium picks because we want to turn so many people on to the winners. So we've got a big pack of winners in hockey, a 5 pack there together, packaged up on the site. If anybody missed the show, they can go get those over at Tony'sPicks.com. We also got together another 5 pack in the NBA. So I might leave it just at that with those picks. I might find another one or two, but it's a 7 pack for me, Tony, in college basketball today. All those going off in the early window. The late window, we hooked up again, Mindy and I, for 3 more plays on those big 9 Eastern, 8 Central, 6 Pacific games. So I'm focused on a 7 pack for $35 on the early start, 7 Eastern, 6 Central, 4 Pacific. Pick up that package over at Tony'sPicks.com. Use the promo code TonyT at checkout. Saves you 20%. But that 7 pack, $35, and I'm coming in rather hot. You mentioned the NBA, but also starting to put numbers up in college basketball, hitting the leaderboard over the last 30 days, and feeling pretty good about my college plays right now as well. So a little more tennis tonight. We'll see, Tony. I like to make sure that I'm only putting up plays that were, close to pick'ems, nothing, too crazy as far as the favorites are concerned. So that might be where I maybe don't get any plays off in tennis because I'm not saying we're looking at one-sided matches tonight, but they're not exactly pick'ems. But we do have some great matches tonight at the Australian Open, including Ben Shelton, the young hotshot American who is going to be the fastest rising player this year. He's made it this far into the quarters. He's going up against Tommy Paul. Paul's going to be a big favorite here. But man, let's watch for Ben Shelton getting plus $2 or more tonight at 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific, approximately. That should be my favorite matchup to watch tonight because Shelton is just very charismatic, great. Leads by great example so far. It looks like what you want to lead this young American group. We did see Sebastian Korda go down last night as a favorite to Karen Khachanov, and Korda's out, the other one of the other young Americans that had made it into the next round. So Tsitsipas is still in there on the men's side. Jessie Pagula, she ended up losing to Vika last night in straight sets. Pagula, of course, the daughter of the owner of the Buffalo Bills. Another young American star on the women's side, but was no match for Vika last night. And Joker plays the other Joker. He plays tonight as a big $7 favorite against Rublev. That one goes off at 12:30 Pacific time. But I don't know, because these odds, Tony, might not get anything going tonight on the tennis side. I think the matchups might be a little tighter once we get to the semis, but we already know that Tsitsipas is a minus 250 favorite over Rybakina. And just wanted a little tennis update for all my fans out there. Tsitsipas over Khachanov, of course, on the men's side.
That's right, guys. Get on board here for Scott over at Tony's Picks. As you see, a 7-pack up there tonight here with college basketball from this nice card here from college basketball. Come off a 7-1 night in college hoops. He's up over 1,220 units the last 7 days. He's been on absolute fire from college basketball. So that's the way to look at it. We're highlighting his NBA, but the college basketball has got on fire too as well. So get on board there. Also, the long-term passes could serve you well. Ramon has a 3-7 or 3-day all sports pass. We've got that 1 month featured up there. You get 1 month of premium plays here from Ramon. Got all his NBA, his college basketball, where he's really red hot right now. We've got a lot of data now. We're already deep. We're already toward a month, about 6 weeks left here. Maybe another 5 or 6 weeks left of conference play, and we got a lot of data here on these teams. Ramon has been on fire, so get on board there. And with that 1 month pass, includes NBA, college hoops, also the NHL, and of course there's the remainder of the playoffs. Right, we got the championship games and Super Bowl is also covered here with that 1 month all sports passes. Don't forget the peripheral sports. Ramon's also in action here with tennis, Australian Open, a lot of the ATP tournaments as well. UFC on the weekend. Once in a while, he'll throw in some Bellator. Once in a while, there may be some soccer out there lingering. So you saw him in a Zolo's shirt the other day. So if he sees something he likes, he'll fire in. So go ahead and get signed up there with Ramon, that 1 month pass. Of course, you can save 20% off right now when you use that promo code TonyT at checkout. You can access Ramon's page by clicking the link you see there in the description. Click the All Cappers tab. Then you'll land right on Ramon's page and go ahead and get signed up to one of his passes. You can also purchase picks a la carte. If one of these if this 7-pack breaks, it will not be, well, once the first game goes off, it breaks. There's no other picks for, there's no 6-pack, right? It breaks. So you can actually go to the pick ticker and buy the plays individually, or just buy the long-term pass and get everything there, including the late steam plays, which are releases that Cappers release between 10 minutes and 2 hours before game time. And those are emailed directly to members with the long-term subscription packages there. So that's another benefit of getting a long-term pass. We should be getting some text in there describing that. We'll have that on every long-term pass at some time. We're having that work order in there so people can understand what the late steam is. So good time to get on board there with that as well. All right, Ramon, we also put together a Twitter account for you over at Tony's Picks Ramon. Also, the morning steam show concluded another big show here with a lot of content tonight with the NBA, a lot of college basketball coverage, NHL, that big card tonight, and more. And of course, we can catch you there on the Twitter as well.
Yeah, Tony, no doubt about it. My Xolos, they ended up with a tie against Tigres, so that was a little bit of an upset to come out with a point against Tigres like that. So on tonight's card, Tony, my social media pick's going to come to you in the MAC, in the game between Miami of Ohio and Akron, 7 Eastern, 6 Central, 4 Pacific. Head on over to Twitter for another free winner. Also embedded on the site here on Tony's Picks. Look around, get familiar with our site, and you'll find 2 free plays there as well. My sponsor play comes to you also in the MAC. It's on a total between Buffalo and Ball State. So there's another free winner for you. Load it up here on the site. Just find the sponsor video, and you'll get another free play there. And also my leaderboard video, where I humbly had to talk about myself on top of the handicapper leaderboards, and that was more than welcome after a little bit of a steady stretch. So it was good to be on top. I'm also talked about those college numbers, Tony. I'm up 1,200 units over the last 7 days in college basketball. So you're right, clicking on college ball. I got that leaderboard video. Find it on the Tony's Picks YouTube channel as well. If you can't find it on the site, usually it's right there at the top of the main page. But that game is the Tulsa, East Carolina game. That's my leaderboard video for today. I try to do several extra videos here every day on Tony's Picks. So there's 3 more plays for you over there at Tony's Picks. So we'll be back at it tomorrow with more morning steam with my crew. I'm going to say my crew in the chat, trying to perk me up over the last couple of days. No, you want to put it behind me. I want the drama. I want some kind of storyline, Tony. I want a villain.
No. You kick a drunk out of the bar and you just move on. We don't need to. And it does drown the show off. It just does not put a good tone in. No. It's not fun. It's hard. It's a hard listen. It's a hard listen. It's a real hard listen. Hearing that drag on for 2 hours, it really is. I mean, you got to sit down and listen to the show and hear how it drags. It's not a good listen. It really is. Let's get beyond it. Really.
All you want are winners.
Yeah. Just keep it on the positive note. Don't drown us with the sorrows. We don't want that tone. It's just that, even like Tifa said, 100%, 10-time agree. There you go. So guys, check out Ramon's leaderboard video here. We just click the premium pick page. We have a lot of extra video free picks for you hidden on the page, where we're actually showing you the secret code to get in. So you can click this video here and you get a leaderboard update as well as a free pick from Ramon on the page. Go back to the home page and you will find also a sponsored video. That's right, I gotta hit this here. You'll find a sponsored video pick up there as well on the channel here. There you go, a sponsored video. So one of our sponsored video. So a couple of extra picks there from Ramon every day. So check it out there here at Tony'sPicks.com. And of course you can find us as well once we sign off. The conversation continues over on our Discord. Welcome everyone to check us out on Discord. We do have the Discord up right now. up and firing. Let me just put Ramon's face on here. I don't know. I think I had the double shot. I don't know what I did with it. But anyway, you can see Ramon here. And this is our Discord page. And there you'll be able to find a lot of content there. This is where the community can contribute with their picks, their ideas. A lot of times they drop in their suggested picks as well as information important for bettors, right? The injuries, certain trends, and of course we see Mindy's in there. You'll find Latifa, you'll find Blake just signed in, TJ's in there as well. Ron is in there. So lots of our community members contribute there as the conversation continues there on our Discord. Of course, you can go to we have two tabs. We have Tony's Picks tab, which is more of a general discussion. Then we have the morning steam, where there's a lot of discussion there. And also, too, if you want to request picks, I know college basketball, there's these big cards. You can request picks to be covered on the show. Always check the show, usually around night, maybe 11 p.m. Eastern time. By then, Mindy will have the lineup of games covered on the show. So you can always take a peek there to see what's covered. Of course, you got to get the picks on the show. You got to watch the show to get the picks. But you also get the information there from Mindy. She'll do a little update letting you know what to expect on the game. So make sure you get your request in right at just before dinner so they can have it part of their lineup for the show. And it's real easy there to find there on the Discord. All right, Ramon, as always, great having you show. Continue that success, and we'll talk with you again tomorrow.
All right, see you then. Thank you.
You got